Mike's Daily Podcast.
1378. That is today's episode 1378. I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer. We also get to the segment Emails from Email and your common not so comments, and we will get to the segment that's called Mike's Daily Podcast. The bottom of the charts. We'll look at the bottom of the news charts today. There's some bottom feeder news to get to. Mike's Daily Podcast. And I would like to say I had another fun day walking with Katie. She is a wonderful lady. As we walked, our two dogs were sniffing everywhere on this trail that's someplace where you have lots of mountain bikers on their Mike's Daily Podcast. Bikes zooming down the trail, 10 Hills Trail in Podcastro Valley, and you gotta go, watch out, you gotta get your dog Mike's and push them to the side. Daily Even though there's a sign, podcast. There's a sign at the beginning of the trail that looks like a triangle. And at the top, there's a horse. And then to the sides, there's a bike and there's a human walking. And basically it's saying horses have the right of way. Bikes have to watch out for horses and humans. And humans have to watch out for horses, I think is what it says. Look who walked in.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. I like horses a lot.
Yeah, horses are awesome. Although I was talking to someone yesterday about how two horses, he was a teenager and he got in between two horses and he got kicked really hard, and look who else walked in. Oh, a horse walked into a bar. Hey, horse, why the long face? That's an old... And so, yeah, horses, gotta be careful. They're powerful things. Powerful beings. Oh, but they're lovely. So that's a little bit of what... now, I need to get to the segment called...
Oh, my God!
Email for email. And your calm and not so calm mess.
Now, Sylvia, who listens to just about every single show, I thank her so much. She enjoyed the story about me napping in my car.
Here's today's podcast picture.
Napping in my car. It's not a picture of me napping in my car. I'll tell you what it is in a second. And I also was very happy to read. She liked that story, and she gave me a bit of advice. She said, between the beer and the spinning rides, not to mention your age, you need to be careful. And it's true. My age, I shouldn't be on a spinning ride like that. But I think, as I discussed with someone else yesterday, the reason why rides like that are so hard on people like me in my late 40s is that we're not kids, right? But kids have a way of just being relaxed, of just being loose, and they know that a ride is fun. It's supposed to be fun. And they just... whereas a older human like myself, I get on a ride like that, and I've driven so much in my life. I've driven many, many more years that I've been on this earth. Just about all the years I've been on this earth so far, I've been driving, and you're very tense when you're driving. And so when you're on a ride, you tense up, and you're like, ooh, ah, and your body should just relax and go with the flow, and you're supposed to have fun, and you're supposed to scream out. A lot of people get sick on rides because they hold in air, and the air pocket is moving around in their body in these violent fashion, and you're supposed to scream. You're supposed to go, ah, which I am horrible at that. I sound ridiculous when I'm doing that, so I guess basically Sylvia's right. I shouldn't be going on rides. But if I was able to be more relaxed and roll with it and be more child-minded, mind like a child. The way a child approaches a ride where they're fun and carefree. That's how we should go into riding rides like that. And then you'll be almost young forever if you enjoy rides like that. There was a picture I posted on Facebook about 5 years ago. My mom and I were in Daytona Beach. I was visiting her, which I need to do very soon. And there's a roller coaster ride at the boardwalk in Daytona Beach, and she and I rode it. And I had them take a picture of us before we went on the ride. And I posted that on Facebook, and I got so many likes and comments and people saying things like, this is the best picture ever. This makes me so happy inside. And it's true, because my mom is so young at heart. And that's what it's all about. Youngness. It's a Kenny Chesney song, Young. And I brought up Kenny Chesney on this show for no particular reason other than he's a guy in country music who's been around a long time, and we're the same age. And I met him twice. Very nice guy. Was married to Renee Zellweger for like a minute. And you can tell I'm missing the country music stuff, and I'm not doing the country radio station. And Brian in Ontario, Canada, keeps emailing, even though I told him weeks ago that the internet radio station that I was on, Country Crossroads Radio, was going to be going away. In fact, it's now gone. But he keeps, every week he'd email me, Mike, why aren't you on? Because, Brian, they're going to be ending the station soon. Mike, the station's gone. What happened? Brian, do not read these emails. Anyway, Café Anyway. I think people get stuck on stupid.
You know, I mean, people get stuck on stupid, you know what I mean?
All right. Awesome.
And, this isn't a good thing. Greta Hausman is wearing the exact same dress as the girl from Politico, or whoever that is on C-SPAN with her. But they both look so lovely. I have a big crush on Greta Hausman from C-SPAN. But that's either here nor there, or over there, or up there, or in between those two things, or whatever. This is Mike's Daily Podcast, and I was talking to Carol, who lives down the street from me, and she said she was going to try and listen to a show. I told her about my Queasy show, which was the last show, and I talked about because I told her that whole story, and she's like, I'll have to listen. And I said to Carol, well, yes, please do. Because people need to listen to the show and download it so that it makes me feel better. No, they don't need to do that. I would like to say hi out to one other neighbor down my street in Podcastro Valley. Actually, two very similar. So, Carol's daughter lives with her. I know a lady down the street. Her daughter's visiting from... two ladies I know with dogs. All these ladies have dogs, by the way, in this story. Interesting. If I can even begin this story. Did I say hi to the other people that walked in? Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. We've been doing stuff while you've been talking. Are you still putting pencils in your ear? Yeah, I stopped doing that. I fainted a couple of times. Lead poisoning. It's not good. Yeah, lead poisoning is not good. So, let me tell my story. You want to hear my story? Yeah, go ahead. All right, here's the story. Both of these moms and their daughters, their daughters are visiting from college during the college break. Both of these daughters, these two groups do not know each other. They live on like opposite ends of my neighborhood. One family has a dog that's a wonderful Australian Shepherd named Sailor. I love this dog. And they give this dog free rein. He comes outside, and I'll be walking by with Basil the Boxer, and Sailor will come running up and say hi to Basil, and Basil gets all excited and kind of runs around and pees on one of their plants. It's wonderful. And then so they give this dog free rein. Then the other group, the other mom and her daughter, they have a dog named Bodie, and Bodie is this like a German Shepherd mix, and Bodie is so sheltered, so controlled, so they're so scared that Bodie's gonna break away and rip someone's arm off. They're just so scared. And Bodhi is just, it's so sad because Bodhi's got the stupid thing on his muzzle so he can't bark or bite anyone. And Bodhi is the sweetest freaking dog. Always comes up, lets me pet him. And they're like, oh, I don't know if we should let your dog meet my dog. Basil's met your dog 100 freaking times. So both of these daughters are coming here to California from, they're studying outside of California. One studying in Montana, the other in North Dakota. So basically trying to get away as far away from California as possible. And both daughters, I spoke to them, and they're telling me about the snow and getting used to the snow. This is the first time they lived in snow. And getting used to the cold. And I just found it fascinating. They're both... And I saw... Oh, that was the other interesting thing, is I saw them within minutes of each other as I was walking Basil the Boxer. And just the dichotomy... And all the happy moms that their daughters are visiting. And then finally, there's a neighbor I have just down, 2 doors down. She is with her daughter, who just graduated from high school, in Hawaii. And they just posted a picture. And they did a cool thing where the sun is rising. I think that they're on Maui, maybe, where you go and you see the sunrise over the volcano, one of the volcanoes there. And the two of them are holding their hands together, one with the left and the other the right, making a heart with their two hands joined. And in the middle of the two hands joined is the sun rising. And it's so nice. And I just want to applaud the nice things in life that we sometimes forget. Even though I'm going to get to some crazy, stupid news, we got to remember those things. And we got a 4-day weekend for some people. Not for me. I got to work Monday. And then I actually am working Tuesday at my part-time job. But I will be probably bringing you a podcast every single day next week. Even for your 4th of July. Which I have no plans for, I have to tell you. I get off of work at 6, and then I'm just going to go home and listen to all the explosions. Wah, wah, wah. And that's... So I was talking to Katie and telling her about my ride experience, and she said, wait a minute, you rode the ride alone? And I said, yeah, and she goes, I don't know if that's more sad than you getting sick. And I said, I agree. I concur. I was alone. But you know what? How do I get you alone? Hey, that's Ann Wilson from Heart, who's going to also be at the fair. But that's neither here nor there, over there, or at the fair. It's Mike Matthews. Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is the wonderful website where you can see all the past shows, past podcast pictures, help out the show through the Amazon link. Click on that, buy whatever it is you're going to buy, and that makes us very happy. There's also the PayPal. You can help us out that way and get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters, a personalized MP3 for thee. And you'll become an inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster. And now the segment called...
Oh my gosh!
The bottom of the charts. And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
Burgermaster.
These are the bottom feeders of the news today. First, Greta Van Susteren, Paula Poundstone's blonde sister. No, that's not true. But to me, they sound alike when they're speaking. I am a huge Paula Poundstone fan, and she just came out with a book, and she's going to start a podcast. If she's going to... Now, everybody starts a podcast. Can they keep up and do it week after week after week? Or day after day after day? That's the question. Coming from the guy who's been doing it day after day for the past 6 years. No, that's not true. I've taken many days off. It hasn't been completely daily. That's a lie. It's close enough to daily, though. I think you'll concur. And the German lawmakers voted on Friday. So this is actually not bottom of the news. Should be at the top of the news. They voted today to legalize same-sex marriage after a short but emotional debate, bringing the country, Germany, Deutschland, the land where my wonderful cousin Ann-Katrine, who says Mike's Daily Podcast at the beginning of the show, where she lives, where I can never ever find the German music. Is it over here? Here it is. There we go. country in line with many of its Western peers. Though Chancellor Angela Merkel voted against the measure. What? Huh. That's a surprise. Well, where's my surprise music? She paved the way for its passage by freeing other members of her party to vote their conscience. I don't know, that's some political... I don't understand. Lawmakers voted 393 for legalizing marriage for everybody and 226 against, with 4 abstentions. Merkel said Monday that lawmakers could take up the issue as a question of conscience, allowing members of her conservative coalition, which has been against same-sex marriage, to individually vote for it. That prompted her center-left rivals to quickly call for a snap vote on the issue, adding it to the agenda Friday on Parliament's last regular session before September 24th elections. Loopholes, my friend. Loopholes. That's how anything gets done in this world, is loopholes. All right, now some bottom feeder news. Back to Greta Van Susteren. She's leaving MSNBC nearly 6 months after joining the network. She tweeted this yesterday. In a memo to employees, MSNBC President Phil Griffin called Van Susteren, quote, a well-regarded television veteran and one of only a few broadcasters who can say they've hosted shows at all 3 major cable networks. We are grateful to her and wish her all the best. Leaving after nearly only 6 months. Oh my gosh. And she's gone. Vanity Fair first reported that Van Susteren is leaving her daily 6 p.m. show, which I have never seen, as of Thursday, and she'll be permanently replaced by Ari Melber. He will take over the 6 p.m. slot next month. Her show struggled to gain traction in ratings, Vanity Fair reported, despite the recent success of other NBC shows, Rachel Maddow and Lawrence O'Donnell. And isn't it Morning Joe guy is getting all the press this morning? And he is also on MSNBC. So that network doing quite well. Meanwhile, over at Fox, not Fox News, but Fox Television, the home of the X-Files, and I remember watching the first episode of the X-Files when it first aired and going, what the hell? This show will never last. And then it lasted, what, over 10 years? Gillian Anderson, best known for playing Dana Scully on the X-Files, lamented over the lack of gender diversity among the show's writers and directors. She said this yesterday and said, quote, I too look forward to the day when the numbers are different. She was reacting to a report that the writer's room for the next season of The X-Files is once again completely male. News broke earlier this week that series creator Chris Carter had assembled a new writer's room for the next installment of the series, bringing back series veterans and adding new assistants, all male. Anderson noted that the series has hardly fared better for women on the director's front as well. Hey, whatever. Showbiz. And now the tech biz. Our last story today has to do with all the things since the iPhone celebrated 10 years. It's 10 years old as of yesterday. But what things has the iPhone gotten rid of? It's gotten rid of a couple of things, and CNBC talked about this on their website. They got rid of the MP3 player. Well, the iPhone replaced the iPod. For a small while, we had our iPod Nanos, or rip-offs of those, and iPod Touch devices, but largely most of us listen to music on our smartphones now. The other thing the iPhone replaced in your life would be the calculator. Yes, because it's one in your phone. A level and compass. Todd Haselton, who wrote this article, said, I know, I just used my iPhone to level out a railing I installed on my stairs recently. It works for most tasks, like hanging pictures. I haven't put that app on my phone yet. It has also completely replaced a compass for most tasks, though you should probably use one that doesn't need a battery for long hikes. Yeah, they're pretty easy to just need a magnet in there. It hasn't made credit cards obsolete yet. With Apple Pay, you don't need to carry around a full wallet of credit cards. Just tap your phone at a retailer's checkout machine and get on your way. Once upon a time, we needed to carry either a portable hotspot or modem that plugged into our laptops for internal access. Now our iPhones can provide that signal, acting as a Wi-Fi hotspot. Notepads. Todd Haselton wrote of CNBC, I take almost all my notes on my iPhone now instead of on a real piece of paper. I love that it syncs with my iPad and Mac too, so my notes are everywhere I go. That's true. I do it one different. I have the notepad on my Samsung, and then when I need the notepad on, if I need to like read it on a computer, I will upload the note to my Drive, Google Drive. And it's not as instant, but as I've said many times, Apple is all about making you not work or think. And because I like to think and I like to work, I don't mind doing the uploading to Drive, and then I've got it. I can access it on any computer, not one that I have to quote-unquote sync through Apple, which can be a frickin' nightmare sometimes. It's all about the hoops and the loops. Do you concur? Computers. Smartphones have replaced computers. Well, not really. It's definitely treading on the computer turf. Todd Haselton said, I rarely ever touch a computer on the weekend, something I did all the time before I had an iPhone. In a lot of ways, the computer in our pockets is replacing the traditional one on our office desks. That's true. I just check emails on my phone now, on my Samsung phone, rather than... The problem is, though, I hate typing on any smartphone. They still haven't really nailed that yet. If you're good with your thumbs, then you're okay. And there are so many people that can't type on their smartphones. Even young people that should know better. I know this guy, Robert, who cannot text for crap. Actually, I know a couple Roberts that can't text for crap. Maybe it's a thing, if your name's Robert, you can't text. Robert has to have his wife text me because he's that freaking lazy or stupid or something. And I'm sorry, I'm getting all heated about this, but I hate cryptic texts. I hate when you text me something and you don't use... I mean, okay, fine, you don't end your statement with a period, whatever. But come on, give me something. Thermometers, they replaced that. Calendars, maps, cameras... Alarm clocks. Oh, yeah, I totally use my smartphone for a camera, not for an alarm clock. Screw alarm clocks, I hate those. Some people use them for light switches, and of course, face-to-face conversation. Well put, Todd Haselton. We have used... Some of us just... Our whole relationships are based on texts with our loved one. As we go outside a Café Anyway, we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Next show, I will be happy to have Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Possibly we'll do this on Sunday. If not, have a wonderful weekend, and I hope it's a great one, and I hope you concur.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!
I have a postscript on today's show. Since I've produced the show and done everything, gotten the podcast picture ready, I forgot to mention what the podcast picture was. It's Silver Strand in Oxnard, California, and I posted it because it was Michael Daly's birthday yesterday, and Michael Daly and I used to run cross-country at Santa Clara High School, the Catholic high school in Oxnard, and he and I used to run cross-country, and he was always way faster than me, and he's just a great guy, and I lost touch with him for a long time, and then he actually subscribed to Classmates.com and was able to track me down. This is before Facebook, where Classmates.com became completely unnecessary. And he tracked me down, and we had coffee back, I guess it was, 2003? 92 or something around that era, and it had been, oh gosh, like almost 20 years since high school. So at any rate, it is his birthday. It was his birthday yesterday, and in honor of that, and that he and I were both from Oxnard, and I mentioned to him I miss Oxnard and Silver Strand Beach, and there's a picture of Silver Strand Beach in Channel Islands Harbor right there around sunset. That's a picture from when I went there about 15 years ago, I think. This picture's kind of old, but around that era that I got to see Mike Daly, and his name is Mike Daly, and this show is called Mike's Daily Podcast. So as you can see, I really needed to postscript this show. That, and oh my gosh, all the media talking about, oh, how dare Morning Joe make fun of the president. Has anyone had their ears open the past 8 years with Obama and Morning Joe putting down Obama and all the other media putting down Obama? Let's frickin' hypocrisy. Isn't it fun? Enjoy your weekend.